Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. We look at those who are listening in the group, knowing who you are, knowing your name and light, knowing what you're doing on the planet, what you've come with, the victories, the fears, and we see in you disbelief that it's happening at all. The human being is the one who channels, and it always has been that way. Always. The scriptures that you read and that you say are the word of God, are the word of men and women channeling. It's not a voice from the sky. And that is because God is inside all humanity. In whatever way that you want to picture it. If you want to say it's in the DNA, if you want to say it's in the corporeal, any of these, God's in you. You may say, well, it must be some kind of multi-dimensional piece that nobody's identified yet. It's fine to say that, as long as you admit that there's inside you the creative source. Dear ones, there's many planets in the universe. In your galaxy, for millions of years, there's been life. You are the new kids on the block. Not all the life has got inside. It's a system that is beautiful, and this planet right now is the newest and the one that is going in to a major shift. My partner tells the story of the precession of the equinoxes, a time when humanity in the ancients saw was the marker. If you didn't make it past then, it was over. The test was over. And the test is not of humanity. The test is of energy, of dark and light, of benevolence and compassion, of consciousness. Not only did you pass it, you were well past that point at which it could ever be reversed. My partner says the snowball is rolling, and you'll understand that in a bit. Toward a higher consciousness, a change in human nature. There'll come a time when channeling will not be needed. When the connection to the higher self and the meld to the innate is so complete that all of you will understand and know you're a piece of the Creator. You won't look at each other and point the finger and say you're doing it wrong. Instead, you will honor all of the methods of worship, of love. Why would it matter how somebody decides to love God? Why would it matter? Why does it matter? And that's because you've come out of a survival situation where literally that's all you've done for eons, and now you're starting to turn around and realize that a higher consciousness is beginning. We've told you several times, and we channeled, that black and white is going to be seen so much clearer. And there won't be those who can, what you say, pull the wool over your eyes near as much. And you're seeing it all over the planet. There's starting to be transparency. You'll see who is who and what is what. We told you also that the darkness will literally fight for its life in these years, and you're seeing that. Because the light quotient of the planet has started to increase. And leading the way in all of these things is the old soul. Dear ones, that is who sits in front of me and who listens to these channels. The well of knowledge and experience that you have on this planet is astonishing. Since the beginning, so many of you are originals. Others who are not originals still have had eons of experience. You cannot ask the question, am I an old soul? Intuitively, if you simply sit there and go inside, you know things. Some of you are part of systems of belief. And the reason that you've been drawn there is because you know things. Intuitively, it's self-evident to you. The search for God within you, old soul, is something you have done over and over and over. You are the ones leading the way. You're going to feel this first. To some, it's tearing you apart. And I know who's here. I know who's listening. You cannot sit on a fence anymore, dear ones. You see the light in yourselves and you cannot hide it. You cannot pretend to be something else. We even ask you, when you leave this room, who are you? Do you carry the benevolence and the beauty of meditation out the door with you, or is it only in a box when you decide to meditate? You can't separate it like that anymore. You can't turn it on and off anymore. So many of you have led that which you may call, correctly or incorrectly, shamanic energy. That is to say, you were the one in the village who could do the magic, who could do the healing, who understood what the stars were saying and the numerology had, who could literally foretell potentials that were coming. You lived on the edge of the village because nobody wanted to be with you. You carry this. This is your lineage. The ancestors and the ancients were you. And now here you are again at the shift. And the things that are disturbing some of you are the adjustments that are going on inside. Some of them are health. Some of them are consciousness. Some of them are all manner of issues that have shocked you because they've only arrived in the last couple of years. And I want to tell you, dear ones, do you have the courage to raise your hand in the dark in the closet when you're alone in the bed and say, thank you, God, for this? For it is a recalibration of your corporeal self, of your consciousness, of your beliefs, of your awareness, into a loving state if you allow it. Dear ones, if you fight it with free choice, it'll leave you alone. But you're an old soul, and you know it. These things are not subtle. They don't belong in some esoteric box that you turn on and off. It is the new human on this planet. I want to tell you more about who you are, what's going on, and why, in just a little while. But until then, I'm going to close with this. My partner has emulated the phrase that I use, that I ask about. Why are you afraid of the love of God? What is it that makes you hold up your hand and say, not today? It's time to take a look. And that's what we're going to do very soon. I want you to feel the love and the benevolence in this message. Kryon has come in because you turned the corner. You went through the precession of the equinoxes, and all the calendars of the ancients have said the same thing, that if you made it, stand by for a higher consciousness, things you didn't expect on the planet. Into a place that you didn't expect you could ever go. A beautiful place where humans have compassion for one another and awareness for one another in ways that you haven't seen with what you call old human nature. A place that'll be so different that everything before 2012 will someday be known as the old times, the barbaric energy. That is where it's going. I am a messenger of this, whether you believe it or not. There will come a time when you drag out these recordings and you will nod your head and you'll say everything he said was right. Whether you believe it now or not, this is your lineage. And so it is. Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. It's an interesting process, channeling. One that my partner didn't understand when he began, and now he does. He steps aside, and the secret of this, as well as those who heal and read, is the same. Is that the human being can remove themselves and all of their filters for just a moment and let the words come in. The words from the concepts that they feel from the other side of the veil, brought to them often through the pineal. Dear ones, there's an adjustment period of time. There always is. Or the human brain on those listening and sitting in front of me, at some level they have to figure out what's going on. Some don't believe it is real, some believe it is real, but they don't believe it's from the other side. They say it is from the human's higher self perspective. What have your teachers told you this is? I want you to think about what your teachers have told you this is, and then I want you, in all fairness, to put it aside for a moment. There are some beliefs that say that humans by themselves cannot touch anything on the other side of the veil. There must be an perhaps teacher of some kind, of some elevation, to do that for you. Some believe it has to be done in a group instead of individually. I'm going to ask you the same thing I ask others. Why do you limit the love of God? Spirit sees you as family, and there's nothing more sacred. Within family, there is preciousness, there is love, there is caring, responsibility. You already know you're different. You do not represent that which has been evolved from the animals. Your DNA itself has been changed so that you can walk through this test, if you want to call it that. The experience of humanism, life after life, creates the opportunity for growth and wisdom and advancement. And that's why it exists. Dear ones, how do you feel about your family? And if you have a child, and many of you do, and you watch it grow and learn things, and you're so pleased, you can hardly wait to tell your neighbors and your friends the latest good thing that your child did. And let me ask you this, Mom, Dad, Do you make your child go through somebody else to talk to you? Are you that important that you would remove yourself that far from your children? Perhaps you make them write a letter and deliver it to you through somebody who has a special costume in the other room. Then you can read it and deliver it back through somebody who has another kind of a costume to them. Sounds funny, doesn't it? But that's what often humans do. They do not see God in them. They see it apart from them. And so they go through a process or a procedure to get to God. Dear ones, I would like to tell you the truth. We are with you all the time. When you sit to meditate, are you aware? We have been with you all day long. Some of you may meditate and start by asking for things that you need. We know what you need. Some of you think of God as a good friend that you have to describe what has happened during the day. We were there during the day. Like you would be for your children. Except that, dear ones, you are not our children. You are our equals. You are our family. And when you're not here, you're with us. You are us. The veil that exists between us is on purpose. It was placed there so that you had to have free choice to look. And through that free choice, a system is set up where you learn with that free choice, without a bias from us. And this is what would call the system of earth, that by yourself you would discover God within. And God is within. All that lives and breathes is part of the system. All of it. Even the very dirt of the earth and that which you walk upon is sacred. Some of it has consciousness you're not aware of, but all of it knows about you. Dear ones, you are that which is elevated on the planet. There is nothing that is elevated further than you. That is the free choice, to find God inside and change the planet. Now, in the process, you're going to change you. Some of you believe you are workers of the light. We use the metaphor of the lighthouse all the time. And it's a beautiful, beautiful metaphor. And what I want to tell you is that those who work in the light eventually become light. Those who live in the lighthouse eventually become the lighthouse. This is the system of the planet. It integrates within itself. There is a cycle of beauty. There is no such thing as death, just the cycle of life. We have said to you there are no goodbyes, for the cycle has you continue. What are you going to do with this information right there in the chair where you sit? Here's what we ask. Believe it. You're not going to be able to change anything around you until you believe this. Is it possible that you're more than you've been told? Is it possible that your energy alone can change the things around you? And the answer is yes. Is it possible that inside you is an energy that can literally stand above yourself and maybe see things around you? And the answer is yes. Is it possible that your DNA is starting to enhance itself and become more aware of who you are? And the answer is yes. And all this belongs to a certain kind of human, a human called an old soul. Now, the old soul is one who's been here before many times, and their Akash carries with it an enormous amount of information and wisdom and lifetimes of talents, both genders, and the beauty of the knowledge that you have. I want you to realize the energy in the room. It's sacred. It's been prepared carefully for you. It's patterned. Now we're going to use that word a lot in the future. For the human can pattern energy wherever they go. And the pattern of the energy that they make is the pattern of the beauty of the family. So that when you sit together, there are no distractions. Only love. And it's the love of the earth for you, it's the love of God for you, it is the love of spirit for all you are. How can we say this more succinctly and easier than this? We know who you are. We know your names and what has happened to you. All of the things that you think are mysteries in your life at the moment are an open book to God. And because of this, we also have the solutions on the next page. Anyone who listens to this should know this. The solutions have already been done. If you'll just turn the page, you'll see it. And that is the beauty of what we teach. That humans are enabled to do things that perhaps your teachers didn't tell you about, or didn't know about, or they existed in an age where it was not possible. And now it is. All of it. We say we know, dear ones, where we are, who is here, and what is going to be next for you. And so it is.